be a Strange Loop sweep? That's the question going into the 75th Annual Tony Awards. And with the Tony Awards comes the predictions. Bum, bum, bum. To help me with these predictions this year, I've got Con the musical composer, Brent Black, aka Brentalfloss, musical theater historian, Margaret Hall, and our Lord and Savior, the sexiest beard on Broadway, Marc Bonnani from the YouTube channel Broadway by Ghostlight. So, I have come up with the punishment for this year's thing, and I have not told them. Last year I had to walk the Brooklyn Bridge dressed as Mr. Mistopheles.
Sir, meow! Sir, meow!
You lost the bet.
Jellicas do. What, you never seen a guy in a cat costume drink milk out of a bowl on the Brooklyn Bridge?
So, are you ready to hear what we came up with this year?
No.
I'm scared.
I'm very excited. So, this year's loser has to dress up as Harold Hill from The Music Man and perform You Got Trouble to people waiting for Beetlejuice.
Oh!
But they only have 1 hour to memorize You Got Trouble, and then they just have to go. Also, last year, winner got this shirt, our reigning champion, Marc Bonnani.
Nice.
This year, I went all out, and I got this Top Banana Trophy.
Wow.
I wanted to get the hot dog, but it was $109. Let's dive into our first category, Best Orchestrations.
Who knows anything about orchestrations?
One thing I do want to note, I am so upset on Michael Starobin's behalf because his orchestrations for Flying Over Sunset were some of his career best. And he should have been nominated. But alas, that is my own battle that I will
Get your
have.
crap in a line.
Come on! I think it's either going to be David Cullen for Company, but I think if Girl from the North Country is going to win anything tonight, it's going to be orchestrations.
I think I am going to go with Charlie Rosen for A Strange Loop.
Well, last time I went with the idea of, I believe Jagged Little Pill was up for this as well.
It was,
and
yeah.
what I thought it would be is that the adaptation of radio music to musical theater would seem like heavier lifting. I was wrong. It was Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge,
but
yeah.
I think the fact that, right before we jumped into this, when I looked down, I thought, oh, right. Gender changes in Company mean that's a lot of work when you've got a bunch of harmonies and you have to make it sound like the spirit of the original without some random and we have to get a contralto or a baritone to fill this line out and it'll sound weird. And I mean, I might be giving the voters too much credit. I'm kind of all over the place with whether I'm over or underestimating them, but in this particular case, I feel like no!
Through all of them, the one that gave me the most layers was Company.
Yeah, okay, so then I think that means that I'm going to be officially Simon Hale, even though I am technically on the fence.
Ooh, here we go.
I'm taking a risk.
All right, next up, Best Lighting Design. Margaret, who you got? Why is
Neil.
Why is it Company? Yeah.
Yes. Why is it Company? It's Neil, it's Company.
Well,
the
yeah.
lighting is almost as important to the stage picture as the set. It always is, but really in this production, they use light in such a creative way.
Yes, Company, you're absolutely right in your points, but I'm going to just lean 6 on this one.
I could see that happening.
I have gone back and forth and every which way. Screw it. I'll go with Jen Schreiber for A Strange Loop.
Okay, those were cool lights as well.
Hey, there was some lighting there.
And I'm going with Neil Austin and Company because I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said on that.
Okay.
Look at this photo, people. Put it right here in front of Brent's face. Hey, I'm a light.
Roll.
Best Scenic Design.
For me, it's between Company and Flying Over Sunset.
Yep.
I guess I'm feeling adventurous. I'm going to go with Flying Over Sunset.
Okay.
I'm infecting them.
Margaret.
I wonder who. Beowulf. If I had to convince voters, I would just pull out that gigantic jungle forest wall and go, there you go.
This one was tough because I feel like a lot of these shows, they don't have a set the way that Sunset Boulevard has a set, And I haven't seen them all, so I looked around and I loved A Strange Loop, but the set I felt was, fairly functional, great for what it was, but not trying to be its own showpiece, despite the fact that suddenly like an Arthur Miller play just showed up all of a sudden with that house. Like, where was this the whole time?
Yeah.
But I think I am going to go Flying Over Sunset as well.
Wow. I'm the odd one out. I chose Company just because I think that
It is an
show,
amazing
very
set.
well.
I mean, like, when you think about the show, that has been...
Think about the tiny set.
All right, best costume design? Brent?
I got to go with 6. It's Starlight Express if the trains had all married Henry VIII. Like, it's... Like, they're doing, you know what I mean? Like, as opposed to, like... Well, Strange Loop's not even on here, but, like, the Music Man... It seems to me they did The Music Man. They did expensive summer stock, like the very well-crafted version of what you're supposed to do. And when you look at 6, it's just like, oh, those are some costumes. Those are some tough choices.
And the costumes are an iconic part of all of the productions of it.
Right.
I put William Might Be Long for Diana.
Interesting.
Because the costumes are a character in that show.
Yeah.
Where I looked at this category of like, what show is the most costume?
Don't get me wrong, Diana the Musical being a Tony Award winner by default. I'm all for it, but it doesn't have to be that one. But I'm going to give it to Gabriella Slate for 6.
Yeah.
Best choreography. Hope Camilla Brown wins for Best Director of a Play. Her work for this was incredible, but I think it's going to go to Chris Wheeldon for MJ.
Yeah.
The dancing is...
Yeah, I think we're all
Are we all
united on
it's
this.
like, that is
Chris
like...
Wheeldon.
Yeah.
And again, like, I always think about, like, what is the show selling itself on? MJ sells itself on that dance.
Yeah. And then that leads into Best Original Score.
Holy moly.
Strange Loop.
Yep.
I don't
agree.
think there's a world in which it wins the Pulitzer and does not win Best Score.
I agree.
Yep. Best Book Musical.
Best book of a musical.
Best Book of a Musical.
Best Book Musical is Jim and Yanni, Life and Lessons from Broadway and Beyond.
Oh, I thought you were picking up.
I know, I thought you were...
Yeah, I was like...
It's right there if you want to grab it.
Hand it again.
Sorry, what?
Here we go.
So careful, that's mic on.
Put it back.
I'm gonna by your butt. Okay.
Oh,
Best book of a musical.
Best Book Musical is Jim and Yanni, Life and Lessons from Broadway and Beyond.
Oh.
That definitely wasn't pre-planned.
What?
Yes, please buy it. I like food.
All right, Best Book of a Musical.
Strange Loop.
Same, Strange Loop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And same for me.
Next category, Best Featured Actress for a Musical.
I went with Elle Morgan Lee. I just think it's time for a historic win, and she does really great in the show.
Elle Morgan Lee is a historic win who's doing fantastic work in her show, and it's the show that is the buzziest show of the season. Patti LuPone is the established legend doing a role that people have been wanting her to play for decades. I'm gonna put my vote on Elle Morgan Lee.
For me, you know, like the value of the historical nature of it, inclusivity, and the fact that she was really good in the role, that is all important and weighs a lot. But I don't know that I trust a new group to not give it to Patti. And this is one where, like, I could truly, like we've said, I could go either way. But for this guess, I'm just gonna go with Patti. So if I lose, at least I lose big.
Yeah.
I was really torn between Patti and Jen Snoward for the role. I think Elle Morgan Lee is incredible in the show and wholeheartedly deserves it. I wonder though if her role and John Andrew Morrison, I wonder if they're hindered a little bit because it's such an ensemble.
True.
The thoughts. I mean, there's so many shows, including A Strange Loop, where it's like, please give us an ensemble Tony Award. I'm going to do the safe thing and go with Patti LuPone.
Okay.
Patti LuPone. Best Actor for a Musical.
I'm going to go on a bit of a limb, and I'm going to say Miles Frost.
Wow.
I think there's a lot of love for Miles.
And it was down to Miles and Gipull for me, too. So I'm going to have to go with Gipull. For me.
I also went with Gipull because Usher is the show. MJ moves around Michael Jackson.
I think the momentum's behind the show, and to the extent that sometimes academies of voters get swept up in the popularity of a thing, the name recognition, I think, you know, he'd be my personal pick as well, but I think that's going to help him, so I'm going to guess Gipull as well.
Oh boy, get that Harold Hill. Who knows? You could be right, and then we all like.
No, we'll see.
Next up, we've got Best Actress for a Musical.
Yes.
I picked Sharon D. Clarke because I feel like in the same way that Usher is the show with A Strange Loop, Caroline is the show with Caroline or change.
I also put Sharon. She's had the momentum behind her this entire season. If she's gonna have competition, I think it's going to be Paradise Square.
It's tough because it's really like the battle of two 11 o'clock numbers is what it really comes down to. Caroline or Change closed down early, so did Tony voters get the chance to go see it, or did they go to see Paradise Square first? But either way, there's no denying that Sharon D. Clarke delivered a masterclass performance, and I went with Sharon D. Clarke.
And there's also the buzzy fact that she's gonna be doing Death of a Salesman next season.
Right?
So, like, they want to make her more sellable.
Yeah.
Shoot, I am gonna go against the grain. I am going to say, I'm gonna say Joaquina. I think that'll be Paradise Square's only win. I think it got 10 nominations, so I think
It got 10 nominations.
It did,
right
and
with that
you're
number?
right, and I don't understand it.
Voters are seeing Joaquina do that 11 o'clock number recently, and that's what you leave the show with, and I think that might push her over the edge.
Yeah. Best direction of a musical.
I think it's going Marianne Elliott for Company. I think if you're looking for a director's stamp, a vision, cool directory things, I think Company is what you're gonna find. And so that's why I'm going with that.
Yeah. And it's the thing of like you're reviving Sondheim.
And it's
which,
the last thing he worked on, which is a huge amount of goodwill attached.
Yeah. Did you pick?
I didn't, though. And I'm predicting that this is where the Strange Loop sweep starts.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of times the idea of best direction and the idea of the thing you want to be best musical get fused. And while that isn't always the case in terms of the voters, I think it's going to be a Strange Loop.
Best revival. And this can go any way.
No, it can only go one way. It's Company.
That's how I feel.
Really?
I think it's Company, but I do think we're probably gonna get bit in the ass for not doing Music Man for anything.
Are we?
I think there's a chance.
I mean, certainly there is.
Where, and I don't know what category it would be, because none of these have I looked at and been like, I feel like Music Man's in the top 3.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Company, especially just because, you know, Sondheim passed away, so I think it's just a nice...
It's going to be Funny Girl and a surprise write-in.
Best musical. We've got Diana. We've got Girl from the North Country, MJ, Mr. Saturday Night, Paradise Square, 6, and A Strange Loop.
Everyone say it on 1, 2, 3.
Mr.
Strange
Saturday
Loop.
Night. I knew. A few months earlier, I would have said 6.
No,
Hands
A
down.
Strange Loop spiced up the whole season.
Yep.
I just feel like it distinguished itself in a way that feels like not quite on the order of Hamilton or Rent, but it feels like in the league and on the shelf of, wow, we've never seen something
Yeah, it's got
like
major
this.
buzz.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen, but there has been reports that MJ, we were discussing earlier, is really swaying people.
So either way, there's going to be
double.
some Michael Jackson winning.
All right, and those are our picks. What are your picks for the Tony Awards? If you click on the link below, then you can download your own sheet, kind of like what we have here. Fill it out and keep score with your friends. And you can also find in that place a link to see all of our picks, including the plays. Remember to live truthfully in those imaginary circumstances, and Chester sends his love.